Hopefully everybody has you, and I'm going to put my phone on mute, and we're ready to roll. Thank you, Max.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for the intro, Coach. That was cool to give you guys a little bit more background and kind of the way that I think about the game. I played goalie, but when I played, I felt like I had a pretty good understanding of defensive schemes and concepts. And Coach Johnson did an awesome job of being a teacher on the defensive side of the ball. But then right when I left college and got down to Lynchburg, Virginia, there's this guy named Chris Przynski who was an All-American defenseman at Lynchburg, and he took over the defensive side of the ball. We came in together as graduate assistants. So I basically said, all right, well, Coach K, I'm going to learn some offense. And he took me under his wing, and I went from there. 2 years as an offensive coordinator, as much as you guys who knows have worked under Coach K, you can coordinate over there. And then went up to Bowdoin. Coach Arch I think I fooled him into thinking I could do this thing, and was up there doing offense, coordinating the unit up there for actually 5 years. Really cut my teeth up there. And then, again, kind of fooled Coach Poley into thinking the Boston University thing was a good fit for me. And all of a sudden, he's like, yeah, I'm going to hire you, but it's a defensive position. I want you to continue to recruit, do all the things that you've done at the coaching or in your coaching career, but we're going to drop you on the other side of the ball. And that was an eye-opening experience for me. A lot of my defensive concepts came from Coach Arch up at Bowdoin, and really only had scratched the surface of what I should know because I dived so hard into the offensive side of the ball. And here I am 3 years later, and I kind of learned under Coach Poley for a year, kind of got my feet wet, concepts down and theories, and took some of his and added some of Coach Arch's, and sprinkled in a bunch of my own sort of ideas as an offensive guy to the defensive end. So last 2 years as a coordinator, and this is going to be kind of the culmination of where my head's at now with sort of the defensive side of the ball. Coach Johnson tuned in too. Coach J, no, we won't be talking about Titan here with the two short sticks on the pipes and the zone stuff, but maybe that'll be for a call later down the road. So we'll jump right into it here. I'll share my screen, and got a little bit of a presentation pulled up for you guys with some film stuff as well. But first, you guys all see my screen there. This is kind of me here as we go into this thing. This is one of my first Lynchburg days, so first webinar here, boys. This is what I'm feeling like. But we'll jump into this right off the bat. I think also to if you guys got questions, feel free to jump in. Okay, you can also I think there's like a little chat piece that you can use as well. If that was something that you want to just throw a question in and see if I grab it and answer it, you can do that as well. So don't fire till you see the whites of their eyes. Parallels between the Battle of Bunker Hill and defending the Tewaaraton winner. So we're definitely going to talk more defensive stuff here. Okay, first things first, the history lesson. All right, Bunker Hill, June 17th, 1775. I think the little tidbit that I learned, was it actually was the battle went down on Breeds Hill. All right, went down on Breeds Hill. So it was something that excuse me here. Can you guys see my presenter view, or can you guys see just the slides?
We see presenter view.
Okay, cool. I'll get out of that. And then I guess the parallels, right? Matchups: us at BU against Loyola, the British. You know, they're the perennial power. Okay, they're the league champs and the national champs. They got the kid Pat Spencer, who's a damn good player. So we had to figure out how to sort of come up with that. Then you got the tactics, right? Don't fire till you see the whites of their eyes. That was the biggest thing for us going into that game. We wanted to make sure you slide a bunch to them, and you slide early to them, which was sort of our MO. You put yourself in a bad place because they can kind of pick you apart. Okay, they can kind of pick you apart. So you give them time to sort of read slides and space and things like that. It's just a bad idea. with how talented they were that year. And even though we were better in motion, as you can kind of see on the right there, all right, we wanted to sort of take away what they preferred to do. All right. So in the Battle of Bunker Hill, the Americans just stood at the top and wanted to fight a little bit differently than war times had given them. So we were going to kind of do a little something, take away what we thought Loyola was good at. And that was actually looking in and looking through. So one thing that you'll see really different that we did was actually a ton of adjacent packages. Because we saw, or I saw, sort of a tendency was last year, as much as everyone wanted to clue in on Pat Spencer, we felt like if you clued in on Kevin Lindley, you put yourself in a better position to sort of keep them at bay and at least give up looks that weren't coming from one of the better finishers in the game in a dangerous area. And then the willingness to use everything to defend the higher ground. All right. Get us out of presenter view here as we go along. But the Bunker Hill, the last history piece I'll give you, they were putting nails and scrap metal and glass into their muskets there at the end of the Battle of Bunker Hill to sort of keep the British down the hill the best they could. And we at BU were ready to use literally anything and everything we could to defend that group. It was a really talented group in 2019, and that included in game. We had to improvise in game. We had to make changes. We had to adjustments. We were ready to do whatever it is that we had to do to put us in a position to win. So, and I guess the result, the biggest difference, right? The Brits won the Battle of Bunker Hill, but in this one, thank goodness, on that Saturday, BU won them. So now as we look I didn't want to just strictly speak about that Loyola game, but so here we are kind of looking at a few of what we call our Dawg principles. Okay, how we play defense. This is in no particular order. This is in no it's just more me throwing ideas on a sheet or on a page so that you guys can kind of take a little bit away, something more tangible than just how we defended Loyola. Because a lot of you guys won't find yourselves defending a guy like that or playing an offense that's as similar as Loyola was. So first off, we're slide recovery team. Okay. We'd rather get beat by sliding versus showing and no going. I found that at Boston University, we compare ourselves to our in-league guys and guys like Army, Navy, Lehigh. They have these we call them just dudes, monsters that can play on-ball defense at the short stick position, LSM position, pretty much all over the field, that they can just sort of win their one-on-one matchup and only slide when necessary. We found that at BU, we didn't have those guys, and we were the most successful when we were getting pressure of the ball and dictating the offense a little bit with slides and with going and kind of trying to get through to the ball or force the ball to move or trying to make them beat us with ball movement, things like that. So we're definitely more of a slide recover team, always crease slide whenever possible. Okay. And to simplify things, when I got to BU, Coach Poley had a system in place. We called them split recoveries. All right. Where, if the ball was moved forward after an alley dodge, you recovered behind it. If the ball was thrown behind it, slice pass or jam pass or a money ball, some people call it, you would recover to the inside. And as I started to watch and I started to learn a little bit about BU's system, I kept finding hesitation in that concept. So when it was my turn to jump into the coordinating role, I said, Coach P, we're just gonna cover everything inside. I'd rather do it without hesitation. I'd rather be decisive with all of our recoveries and all of our decisions. So the less decisions you have to make and the less variability there is in your decision making, the more decisive you can be. And you'll see in a slide later, one of our key components to playing defense at BU is motor, right? And if you're thinking, you can't play with a motor. We're usually slow to fire in our adjacent package. We just don't think going to people's faces is really all that advantageous. The 2 slides and 3 slides become really, really important. The timing of those become really important. We talk a lot about keeping Dodgers one way. All right, I forget where I picked this up, a back pocket, right? You want to keep defending in their back pocket, no rollbacks. That's not something that rollbacks kill a defense because it changes your ones, it changes your fills, it changes your twos, changes everything when you give up a rollback, especially if a rollback changes sides of the field. But either way, we want to stay in people's back pockets, keep them one way as much as possible. And this includes sort of dodges from behind. All right. Probably something that I'm a little bit unique on, again, because I didn't play the position and I've only been coaching for about 3 years now. But I'm a huge believer in the V hold. But with my V hold, we're driving people up the side. And usually the way I teach it to my guys is feet behind. I'll show you a few clips of this in the game, because I think it's so important in defending a guy like Pat Spencer, to take away his hands, all right, but also not give up the inside roll. The inside roll in today's game is really deadly for an offensive player, because they can dive, right? They can get to the front of the cage, and defensively, if you give up the inside roll, the only way you can defend them is push them in the back, and you draw a foul. So I've sort of adapted this idea that anything we can do to keep away offensive players from what I call a scary area, I'll show you what it is on the field, is really important. The best way to do that is kind of stay behind them, drive them up the side. But you also have to be able to take away their hands, and we can do that with the V hold. Alley dodges, drive through the shooting zone. That's with back pocket. Just keep people going down the alley. And this includes looking for a little bit of a trail check when that shooter does bring his hands back to shoot, because you're in a good position there to get something to it. And then finally, aggressive to rollbacks, right? We don't want to give up rollbacks, keep people one way. But if we anticipate or we read that our on-ball defender is about to get rolled back off the ball, we can go and we can meet him and we can be aggressive with it. I'm trying that element of surprise a little bit. Communication, drop, stay, and party. All right. When we do slide to people, you can say any of those 3 words. All right. I think I took drop and stay from Coach Arch up at Bowdoin. So as the slider, we call it the 1, you fire. And then as you arrive, you either tell the on-ball guy to drop, which means he's got to go recover. You either tell the on-ball guy to stay, which means you think that you have slid, but he's got either the matchup that we like defensively, or you slid, and as you slide, you have second thoughts about it. Right? Maybe the Dodgers bouncing away and not looking to reattack, or you slid and it was on the cusp of being dangerous and now he's bouncing away and rolling away. Instead of initiating a recovery, that fire stay call allows you, the guy who fired, to just recover and find yourself back there, which should shorten it up a little bit and make the recovery a little bit quicker. And then there's party. That's our double call. Okay, it takes at least 2 to party. So that's our double call. You can kind of stay on that as you slide. And instead of recover, you want to make sure that you party that thing. Either you're putting the ball on the ground or you're making sure that ball moves before one of you recovers. One of the biggest things about the party call is you still need a drop call. Somebody still needs to recover if that ball is able to get out of there. And I think one of the things about drop, stay, and party is it becomes a feel thing. Your guys got to start to feel sort of where and what area is best for each. And also it's a KYP, know your personnel. Who should we drop? Who should we automatically drop to? Who should we stay with? Who should we party? Where should we party on the areas of the field that are good for that? And then those last 2, arrive 6 feet early and kills, nuggets, and shot blocks. Those are 4 things that we talk about every single day in the BU room, film-wise. 6 feet early, just always arriving with our stick out, whether that's the shooters or Dodgers. Okay, kills are ground balls that end possessions. Okay, for us at Boston University, we found that if we are able to not give up what our offense calls offensive rebounds, our percentage is much better. Okay, nuggets are any pass deflections that turn into turnovers, or stop imminent scoring chances. Those are huge for us. You got to be able to use your stick to defend. And then shot blocks. Being a goaltender myself, I always love the defenders that were able to put what I call their nose on the football. Okay, but approach the head of the stick and wear a shot or alter a shot. That was always really huge for any defense that I was a part of. So we hold those 3 things at the bottom in really high regard in our unit. Oh, sorry. So here's a look at a map of our defensive half. This was we called it our approach map this year. Okay. And the reason I put it up there is twofold. One, talk about the 3 approaches that we use at Boston University when we approach the ball. Our 2 most prominent are actually black and square. So square approach is you just square up the dodger. Okay, you wait for him to make his first move and you go with him and you defend. Okay, usually have to be as athletic or more athletic than the guy that you're defending to be great in square. Black is going to be your approach where you're keeping them one way. And for us, black in the corners here was keeping them down the alley. And I'll talk a little bit about that in the clips. White was our approach where you're kind of squaring them up, but once he makes his one move, you keep him one way. Whereas in square, you're sort of trying to fight to get in front, all that kind of stuff. And white, you're looking to let him make his move, stay with him, drive him that way. And I wanted to make sure that I defined where on the field we wanted to have these approaches in a base set. You know, your game plans could dictate something different here. But the other piece I wanted to show this map for was the scare area. So those two red triangles that you see are what I call the scare area. Okay, I've come to found as a defensive guy, those are the worst areas on the field for a defense, best areas on the field for an offense, in my opinion. Okay, that's where the attackmen are getting a 5 and 5. All right, that's where Dodgers are getting down the alley. And quite honestly, a lot of coaches think, well, shit, goalie, make that save. You got no angle, right? Make that save. But at the same time, in my head, it was always a shot I dealt with. I was like, well, coach, he's literally 4 yards from me. If he puts it in a spot, I'm not going to be able to react to it. I'm just going to hope he hits me. So those were areas that I didn't really like. And the way that Dodgers are getting so good and midfielders are getting so good at finishing right from their ear, just being able to snap one down to the 5-hole or being able to hit that near post right past the goalie's ear. The closer they are to the goal, the worse it is for us. But the biggest thing is that inside roll. Okay, that inside roll allows offensive players to get defenders on their back. And the only way we can defend them, like I said, was push or foul, especially with the dive in today's game. So everything that we do defensively, you could always come back to say, well, coach, I kept them out of the scare area, and I'd be totally cool with it at Boston University. We want to keep people out of those two red triangles the most that we can. And that's part of my theory on the V-hold with the feet behind. Okay. V-hold with the feet behind, because he can't inside roll if my feet are behind him. All right. My feet are behind him. We'll go on here. All right. A few things that we're not going to touch on in this Loyola game. All right. There's a well-executed 10-man ride. BU, we 10-man ride a bunch. Okay, we executed really well. All right. I think we turned them over at 25%. Our clearing percentage was pretty good. It was below what we wanted it to be as far as the team goal, but it was above what Loyola was giving up in previous games. Okay. We played great in transition offense. All right. You're not going to be able to win a Loyola game 6-5, 7-6. Okay. That's not something that's going to happen. Those guys can score no matter what. So we had to be great in taking advantage of our transition opportunities when we did create them. Okay. And we actually ended up scoring 9 transition goals against Loyola. Hence why we were able to get to 18. And then at the face-off X, we were 60%. Okay, we were 60% at the face-off X. And then here are a few of our major keys that we look at defensively every game. Okay, our defensive efficiency. That's a number of goals against divided by our possessions. All right, we always look at that after a game. Did we hit our number? Okay, in 2019, our number was 70%. All right, in 2020, our number was up to 72.5%. That was our goal each game. We do not at BU, we don't include transition possessions or man down possessions. It's just the kind of our philosophy of what a defensive efficiency is, but you can define it however you want. Kill opportunity percentage is the number of kills, number of ground balls that end possessions, divided by the opportunities you had to end possessions. Okay. Again, we want to be at 70% for that. In 2019, we upped it to 72.5 in 2020. Those are huge, right? You can't give up offensive rebounds. Offensive rebounds kill it, especially with the shot clock a reset to 80. All right. We talk about living 80 seconds at a time. If you only have to live 80 seconds at a time and not 160, that's a good thing. Our man down percentage, as you can see it, we want to be above 75%. In this game, we were 1 for 4. We wanted, in 2019, we talked about nuggets. We wanted to have more than 3 pass knockdowns in a game. And this game, we had 4. You'll see one of them was really nice. But 2020, I actually changed that metric, that defensive metric, to it was 7 total of these 3 categories. Okay. And it was 7 total: nuggets, shot blocks, and shot clock violations. I became this year sort of enamored with shot clock violations. I thought they were a pretty cool way to demoralize an offense. I thought it was a really cool way to really impose your will on an offensive unit and be like, guys, you can't even get a shot off. And that just gave us momentum. So I wanted to sort of challenge my guys to get as many of those as they could each game. And so we ended up with the number 7, right? So 3 nuggets, say you got 3 shot blocks and you got 1 shot clock violation. That's a hell of a day. That's a hell of a day defensively. So just another way to sort of defend that. And then the last piece is a save percentage. You got to have great goaltending if you want to be a good defensive unit. So we'll, if anybody's got questions about that, feel free to shoot them over. Here, as far as defensive game plan for Loyola specifically, okay, all hands on deck in the first 15 seconds. All right, they were, as everyone knows, Loyola likes to play fast and they like to push tempo. So we wanted to make sure we were all hands on deck in the first 15 seconds. The ball came over the midline. I'll show you a few things that we did for that. You wanted to be slower than normal, okay? And oh, great job, Coach. Good read. You wanted to be slower than normal to any initiating dodgers. All right. Again, the whites of their eyes. Wait till you see the whites of their eyes. This was something that was different for us. Okay, different for us. But that was without the invert. The invert was a little bit different. We'll talk about that. Play phase. Okay. Any bottom up or sweeps, we were always in our adjacent package, which we called near. Okay. What I found when scouting this game and watching Pat Spencer play and having that thought process of Kevin Lindley is the linchpin to make this thing go, their lefty inside presence, they didn't like throwing the adjacent ball. Okay. A lot of offensive guys call it throwing the single. All right. I don't know if it's the way Coach Van coaches offense or the way that they had been in tune with how good Kevin Lindley was inside, or Coach Childs' guy, Aiden Olmstead, the other lefty sort of attackman there. I know Coach Childs loves that guy's game, and he's awesome. So it was something that I just saw as a tendency. They hated throwing the adjacent ball. And so it really was like, okay, well, if they don't like throwing the adjacent ball, which in your head, you're like, well, that's really weird. The best team, one of the best teams in the country, and they were number 2 at the time, won't throw the adjacent. They're always looking in or they're looking skip. Let's defend them and force them to do something that they don't like to do. So especially when dodging bottom up, okay, that's like from X or up the hash. We wanted to make sure we drove people up the side and we're ready to go in our adjacent package if need be. And then in the play phase, everyone saw the Pat Spencer where he would post people up, right? And they would look to, especially I think the most famous clip is the Hopkins clip, right? The kid like tries to post them up, battle him. And then Pat Spencer just jumps away. Kid falls on his face and Spencer buries it, right? We wanted to make sure that we got some fire to him. We wanted to slide to those, but we liked our matchup on the ball. Okay, we liked our matchup on the ball. We didn't want a drop call there. We wanted a fire stay call there to keep our guy Quentin Germain on him. And then we want to again keep us out of that scary area. You remember the clip with Pat Spencer jumping and sky high against Rutgers, and he goes up above the crossbar 6 feet up and then dunks it on the Rutgers kid. That's straight up scary area. We wanted no part of that area of the field. Okay, we wanted no part of that area of the field with Lindley. Or with Chase Scanlon. Okay, they were really good in those low corner areas. So everything that we did on those wings, we would drive them. Our approach, would force them to the best of our ability to actually the middle of the field or to a sweep, which sounds scary. But again, if because we reverse engineered it and said, well, they don't like throwing the adjacent pass, it actually put us, we felt, in a stronger position. And then pick game. Okay, we had 2 different plans for pick game. And then the last one there, which is, I've got a bunch of clips of this, is zone. Okay, if we got any offensive personnel stuck on defense, and I think this is something that we can all sort of talk through high school level, college level, whatever the case may be, if we got any offensive guys stuck on defense, because this was such an intricate game plan, we wanted to simplify the game plan for those guys that got stuck. We also didn't want to play 5v5 versus Pat Spencer, Aiden Moldstead, and Kevin Lindley and whatever other midfielders they had on. 5-on-5 is a bad news bears. Okay, too much space. Too much space here. Sorry, guys. For those guys, we did not want that to sort of be something that we relied on. Okay, so if we had offensive personnel in, it goes back to our idea of all hands on deck in the first 15 seconds. We want to get those guys behind the ball. If we could taxi off, I think is the term that Coach K uses down there at Lynchburg. We call it tiger off, okay, or I think we call it marry up here at Boston University. If we were able to marry off with a matchup, we do it. But we did not want to play 5-on-5 or any type of transition because that was where they were best. So during the week, I got the offensive guys 2, 3, 4 reps in the top center spot of our zone and just said, hey, boys, figure it out. Deal with it. Hedge, hold, show, get back, be aggressive, okay? And defensive guys would have to communicate them through all of what they might see. And the last piece to that was we knew Loyola had 2 zone offenses. So we could be very sure of what we were going to see in those positions. So it was something that we thought as a game plan put us in a position of power, right? Put us in a position of knowing what was coming. So if nobody has any kind of questions on that, we'll jump into the film here. So as we look at the film here, all right, just going to jump back to the early offense stuff. All right, so first 15 seconds, okay, we knew they were going to attack. They're best in these scenarios because they're all really good lacrosse players. They got high IQ. They can just play off each other. So talked about the feet behind thing a little bit here. He's still got to stick behind late to lock in the V-hold, like I said, but here's your adjacent help. Normally, we wouldn't do this. Normally, this is a scary place to be for a defense because it's just an easy, simple one pass into a step-down shot. Now, the one thing that we had in our minds was, one, they don't like throwing that pass, and 2, an early offense. This is a defensive personnel potentially, which you'll see here. So we show down a little bit off of the defensive personnel. We're able to approach. Okay, again, kind of that fire stay mentality. Approach, and then boom, there's your 15 seconds. They're starting to sub off. You can see two guys here starting to sub off, all right, which allows our 1 to tiger with that because we can stay even, or even in this scenario, a man up. We call this no-ad, when we have more defenders than they have offensive players. We call that no-ad. That puts us in a different package defensively because we know we can slide without having fills, is realistically the way that we look at it. All right, so as they sub off, we get a nice little adjacent show, no problem. We're taking off here, a little scary, but we should be approaching this guy a little bit earlier. But hey, if you're giving up a 15-yard shot, you got to rely on your goaltender a little bit. So there's our first 15 seconds that we had to defend. We got out of dodge there. Okay, here it is again. The way we know this is early offense is because Coach Child's guy, Aiden Oldstead, is covered by a short stick. Last year, we call it twins, double pulled every faceoff. We felt like it put us in the best position to gain possession. We had 3 or 4 defensemen with awesome sticks, so it allowed us to sort of get there 3 feet earlier, 3 feet faster. But that then puts you at a disadvantage down here, because now we've got one of the best attackmen in the country being defended by, quite honestly, a 135-pound D-Mitty, which we call our gun squad guy. Not exactly the best matchup for us. Usually we would fire to this early while they were subbing, but it looks like this was a shot off the end line. So now we're in a position where we've got to be really on high alert. And again, you can see we're ready to go adjacent almost without even thinking about it. Are we a step slow? Absolutely. But that's the concept. Okay. My on-ball guy knew to drive him up the side. Aiden's a great attackman, left-handed, but I would rather give up this shot with him running up the hashes this way. Okay. Running up the hash away from the cage. All right. Then I would like to see him inside roll, and then we've got to come across the cage in a coma or off the crease in some type of crease package. As a goaltender, I'd rather try to stop this shot, and I think as an offensive player, it's harder to bang that shot consistently than an inside roll. It's also much harder to foul him as he's running up the side, and you can get some near show and near help presence. And there's a kill. That's what a kill looks like. Ground ball that ends possessions. Here's another early offensive possession. All right. We're able to get some subs off. But here we are in the first 15, having to be ready to defend. Now, we didn't come adjacent because we've got one of our, what we call joker, offensive personnel stuck on. So it's like, okay, use everything we got to defend. We're usually usually sliding in Dawg, which is our crease package. So we go there, and we've got great urgency, okay, coming in from the box, because all week long we talked about having to be great in the first 15 seconds. There we are making a play, okay, putting the ball on the ground and defending in the first 15. Now what you'll see, and I'll show that clip a little bit later. Here we are again. It's early offense, okay, because of short stick on Olmsted once again. There's your adjacent package. Okay, and for us, as you see here, again, we should be communicating no-ad. All right, we should be communicating no-ad because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 to their 5. All right, so we know we've got a free slider, puts us in a position where we can dictate the tempo, not have to have fills, twos, whatever you want to call them. So we're able to fire to this, get our drop call, okay, and get our matchups. Now, this is where IQ comes into play and a little bit of KYP. Technically, within our rules, we always recover to the crease. Excuse me. In this scenario, there's this kid number 7 standing on the crease. I don't want my 140-pounder to guard him in any scenario if we can avoid it. So our recovery, we've got to communicate off the ball and get him to the matchup that makes a lot more sense. And that was actually through the defense, which took a little bit longer, but it put us in a better position to defend coming up. And here's the last early offensive clip. All right, again, this was actually off of a face-off win forward. All right, so we won this ball forward. Either we turned it over. I think we turned it over. I think our face-off guy tried to throw it to the left-handed attackman, and it was nuggeted by this defenseman, and they came forward on us. So here we are again with a short stick on an attackman, and they're going to the rack. Okay, they are going to the rack, and this is where they're at their best. Okay, and sometimes you got to have your goaltender make an outstanding save. But these are the scenarios we wanted to keep them out of all game. And there's another kill for the guys getting us up and out. Okay, now we'll look a little bit more 6-on-6. Okay, here's a little bit of an invert set to their play phase. All right, play phase is just basically kind of free flow after they run whatever initiation it is that they want to run. Okay, we call it the play phase. Their invert, we wanted to be a little bit faster to slide, okay? And I guess as we start getting into these slide conversations, when we talk about sliding at BU, we talk about sort of how fast do you want to slide? How early do you want to slide? Those are things that people usually talk about. The way that I describe it and the way that our guys think about it is basically in gears, okay? If we're sliding in first gear, we're really slow to go. Okay, if we're sliding in 5th gear, we're flying, right? We're sliding coming off the bus. All right, so you've got 5 levels of slide speed that you can use, which helps, I think, guys sort of in their heads think about, okay, when should I be going? When should I be thinking about going? When should I be holding tight a little bit longer than maybe I think I should be? It just gives them a number or a concept to sort of think about. Do we define 1st gear and 5th gear? No, because it's a flow sport and things happen and players have to make decisions. But when we can put a number to it and we put a gear to it, the guys sort of have an idea. Okay, well, we're in fourth gear. I should be going more often than not. I should be sliding more often than not. Against the invert, we were definitely in fourth gear here. We didn't like their personnel behind the cage against ours. Plus, if we were to slide, that would force some type of adjacent pass, because in our invert package, we would always have a one from the coma, and they were always rolling a guy off. So we knew there was nothing on the inside that they could throw the rock to. So we were forcing them to throw an adjacent, which was good for us, we thought. Okay, so here's your fourth gear. All right, we're ready to go. We're trying to meet them, we'll be about a yard below, but we're ready to rock, covered up inside. Okay, we knew if we took away the inside and forced adjacents, we were in a good place. Okay. Ball goes up the side. We get our fourth gear. Now we're in a play phase. Okay, now we're in a play phase. And we defended initially, which was great for us with our game plan. And now this is where Loyola is going to be awesome, because they're just lacrosse players and they read things well, and they move off ball really well. So we had to be great in these scenarios as well, sticking to our rules. Okay, keeping people one way. There's our down the alley against the short stick. We knew this was a guy we always had to support. No matter what the game plan was, you were in fourth or fifth gear to Doxy. It's just who he was. Why was he on the field, people would say? Because he had really, really good IQ, and he could communicate to people and get them to the right spots, and he would always be in the right spot. But yeah, we had to defend, or we had to support him with slides. So we knew we were in fourth or fifth gear to him, forcing adjacent passes. Now, we knew we couldn't give up inside looks, but this is where they were best. Okay, they had an open guy here. They've got open guys here. If we could stay out of our crease slide package as much as possible, we knew that was good for us, because they could create opportunities like that. So just showing you guys why we sort of made some of the decisions we did. When we were forced to slide crease and recover to the crease, it put us in precarious spots because of how good they were. There's another huge kill for us, drawn flag. Again, fourth gear to the invert. Even though it was our defender on Pat Spencer, okay, we knew the game plan was fourth gear to the invert to get the ball to move. All right, and here we are approaching them with our second defenseman. So be it. We'll deal with it. Okay, we'll deal with it. This just was allow Pat to be in a single. We call it a single look. Just him dodging from X. Okay, but again, right here, you're going to see that V hold with the feet behind. Okay, his feet are behind the dodger, not allowing the inside roll, but his stick is in front to take away his hands. Okay, this is paramount to the way that we want to play. All right, and then this guy right here is the original defender on him. He wants to get back to Pat and knows that he can pretty much go because we got help to the inside. But he gets a fire stay as he runs away. Okay, fire stay as he runs away. Because we're in that V hold, we know he can't shoot. We know with our feet behind, it's going to be a really wide rollback. Not really going to be an inside roll. We get a little loosey-goosey on the inside here, but with all of our numbers to the inside, no look, really just kind of huck it in off his back foot, throwing to the inside. We've got numbers here. Okay, we should have been matched up. This guy lost his cat just for a second, but because we were so worried about the inside and thinking more adjacent package than crease package, it put us in a position. There's a nugget. Okay, we were able to defend. They get us in a little bit of a hung spot. Okay. They get us in a little bit of a hung spot. He's going to drive aside. Here we are with our adjacent package, forcing them to throw the ball up the side. This is good for us. Okay. But if you remember on that slide that I had, we were trying to fire stay to him, forcing that adjacent pass up the side and then just fighting back. All right. But because we show so heavy, the next guy in line in our adjacent package, which we call near, felt like he had to rotate into the thing, which put us into a full rotation cycle, which again, game plan.
All right, so here it is again from the top. All right, we'll take a look here. We get to a hung, it turns into a single. Drive up the side. Here comes our help. We get our full rotation, and here's all the pieces moving on the backside. Now, what's cool about this, This dude, being an upstate New Yorker, really high IQ. Okay. He was just looking to become a part of the rotation on the backside. But as you see, boom, because he had to come, we make 1, 2, 3 rotations before he can become a part of it. Again, our near package, our adjacent package for the game plan, we were okay with this. Okay. And it was actually interesting. They don't actually have a crease presence for the first time in not much film. All right. But what was really cool about this play here on the backside, all right, is this defensive midfielder here. Okay. We talk about it. We talk about communication all the time, right? He gives some beautiful nonverbal communication right here as they step into it. Boom. That right hand is telling this recovery where we need to be. And it could also be that he's telling the next guy in line, need you behind me, I'm flying. All right, which is huge for a freshman walk-on defensive midfielder from Portland, Oregon. Really cool to see. But here he comes. He breaks down. We get some near help, scramble. They've got to reset. Really, really good stuff. Here's another look at a single action. Okay, and again, we want some adjacent help. All right, but here's the difference. Okay, we actually had to change the matchup on the ball. The senior that was guarding him just came out with a knee injury. All right, so now we put the freshman from Sandwich, Washington on Pat Spencer, and he gets a little overzealous. All right, he gets a little overzealous. He gets a little too far upfield. Okay, remember we're talking about the V hold, but keeping our feet behind. Pat Spencer does a really good job blowing him off, pushes him back. He gets too high on the top side. Boom, gives Pat Spencer the underneath to get to the scary area. Gives him a direct path to the scary area. Now, what's wild about this is because of our game plan, you see, I guess you see the near guy's helmet pointed towards Spencer because that's where we were supposed to be helping from. You see this dude's helmet pointed there because he's just on the back side guarding this cat, but everybody else inside has their head turned. We actually get lucky at the last second that one of our junior or quarterbacks of the defense gets his head around and can slide late. So make a great save. He goes in the crease, we get out. But that is the reason why we try to keep our feet behind and don't allow these inside rolls. That area is petrifying for us as a defense, especially for Spencer because that's where he loves to go. Here we are in the big little. All right, in the big little, as a rule, we play off. Okay, so we do not play the picker. Now, without playing the picker, it gives our on-ball guy more room to get through the pick, so we hopefully don't have to switch. It also leaves less room for, we'll call it confusion, all right, while playing the pick. Okay, taking communication a little bit out of it. Now, the one detriment to it is that he doesn't get as much off-ball communication as he normally would if that defender was here in a what we would call hedge position. So this guy has to scream what side the pick is on. He has to use his big boy voice, say it with his chest to help our on-ball defender get through it. When we played off, this was our one. Okay, he was going to be our hot guy, all right, because he was already in a position to support the ball if necessary. But again, we were slow to go, all right, and again, this is a little bit different than our adjacent principles, but he was free. He's a free slide. We're not going to bypass him. No need to go, slow to go to the ball. But again, feet behind, no inside roll. What's really cool about this clip right here is, as you can see, boom, that left hand that this defender delivers to Pat Spencer's back lets him know, boom, don't try to roll back on me. I'm sitting right here. All right, so he takes it. Okay, he's in that position. Boom, and he rolls back on him. Bang, delivers a blow. Okay, that delivering of the blow with one of your gloves keeps you out of a cross check, but it also dictates where that dodger can and can't go. All right, it's a really important thing, even on rollbacks down the alley. Okay, we teach with our guys, if we're a righty player guarding a right-handed alley dodge and they look to roll back, boom, I deliver a blow with that top hand to his back, letting them know I'm right there, no rollbacks. So it's really cool in slow-mo. You can see his left hand right here, bang, deliver that blow, lets Pat Spencer know, no rollbacks, I'm standing right here. Now, next piece, adjacent package. Here we are showing. They don't like to throw this ball. Okay, so we can show, no problem. Boom, we show, we fight to get back. What's cool, fight to get back, fight to get back. He's ready to go here. Okay, he's ready to go here. As we fight to get back, we give up a 15-yard shot, outside hand. That isn't coming from 7 or 31. That's a win against the number 2 team in the country. Now, unfortunately, we get a shot block and a rebound. All right, that goes in the back of the net. But sometimes you tip your cap. Okay, sometimes you're unlucky. And we played our cards in the way that we thought gave us the best chance to get stops consistently. Big little again. Okay, now I showed this one because this guy doesn't have the best IQ, but a sick athlete playing the defensive midfield spot. He should be in off hour 1, but because in his head he's thinking game plan, everything's adjacent, he's trying to communicate to this guy right here that he's the one. All right, now not exactly our game plan, but doesn't exactly kill us because that was part of our game plan in other areas. But again, I just kind of wanted to emphasize this was actually our game plan, and I'm showing you because this cat got it wrong. But again, feet stick in front, feet behind, nothing to roll back into, little bit of near show help, and a lot of heads not even looking at the ball because we are not thinking about the crease. Here we are again. He squares them up, thinks about going on the wing. On the wing, we wanted to force him up the field. Great positioning to force him up the field. We don't like that underneath area. And then here come a couple near shows. Near show to get back. Near show to get back. Pick it off or up the field. Beautiful. Big, we always play the ball behind. Okay, in the big, we're never an off when it's same size pick. Okay, so we're back here. We can also switch big all the time, but the guy on the ball really likes his matchup with Pat Spencer, as did I. And because we're in a trail position anyway, no need to sort of jump that. All right, so he's able to get through it, really no issues. Okay, he's just a little bit late to lock in the V-hold, which gives the best player on the field this shot running up the hash with his hands free. Okay, again, I love locking in this V-hold probably about 1 yard below GLE because of the new rules. But just wanted to show this one. Yes, we're still on his back, but I would have loved to see the stick in front to get something on his gloves. But I'd rather give up this type of shot than any inside roll. Here's the wing. Again, when we dodge on the wing, we wanted to force him up the field instead of down. Just, again, our game plan. All right, kept us out of any type of crease slide and allowed us to stay in sort of near help principles. All right, we get through it. Okay, yes, we're a little bit late on the near show. All right, but we're giving up a shot on the run, running sideline to sideline. Okay, he's not getting down the hill from actually an area of the field that Pat Spencer doesn't find himself very often unless it's man up. He's not shooting on the run when he's there. So again, kind of playing our cards to their weaknesses. We get a big save. All right. I would have liked our hedge position here to be a little bit different. All right. I would have liked us to be able to switch this. But again, you see our near principles ready to come, just a touch slow. He doesn't want to throw this ball. So I think in game plan wise, you can see why we went for it. This was a pretty good go for this guy, and I wish he would have showed a little bit harder. Here they are with a little 13 to invert look. Okay. We actually ended up going crease here. All right. We could go crease. All right. Off the pop. All right. Off the pop. We stayed with the clear through. I probably would have liked to go from the clear through, but we ended up going from here. All right. We're a slide recover team. And I showed this clip just to show you what our bump principles are. Okay. We always slide from the crease and recover to the crease. Here was the guy that cleared through, the lefty that cleared through. All right. And this shows you how we bump through things. Our recovery comes to the crease. All right. Finds this one. You see us some non-verbal communication. Hey, recover to the crease here. Crease. And then we're going to bump out to the perimeter from right here. Boom. Get in. Bump out. And we're covered. Now, Loyola very scripted in these sort of 6-on-6 scenarios. So they want to get the ball to the short stick and run their invert. So here we go again. Unfortunately, left-handed player, 31. He earns the short stick. We don't drive him up the side. We give him the inside roll. Now, granted, the inside roll is deep, but it still gives him inside position. It puts us on their back. Not good for us. We're slow to go off of here, and we give up a goal. And with that inside roll, we can't help near. There's nowhere for the adjacent guy to fire to, and he's going to be much too late. No shot he gets down there. So on the ball, again, really, it's kind of a perfect storm here. Guy on the ball is thinking, this guy's so left-handed, let me make it really hard for him. Guy with the ball, okay, I see you overplay my left hand, I'll inside roll you. So he's a good player. You tip your cap sometimes, but in a perfect world, last guy with the pen, I want this guy going up the side, even though it is to his strong hand, because we're going to have adjacent help, at least in this game. So here's some play phase, some of our adjacent concepts in the play phase. All right. This is Aiden Olmstead. All right. They're third attackman, but he would start on pretty much any team in the country. All right. Left-handed player. And we wanted to stay with these adjacent concepts. Here he is on a converted left-handed attackman that we turned into a defensive midfielder. And we just trusted him, right? Boom, here's our adjacent concept. He should be dead to rights right now, right? Boom, we should be in a great spot. We got a little trail check. We got a little adjacent help. And again, wide open. It was part of our game plan, put us in a good spot. We thought he's able to get out of it and score a right-handed goal. Now, are they going to be able to score 15 on us while Aiden Olmstead scores 3 right-handed? I was going to hedge my bets, no. So sometimes you tip your cap. Here we are, adjacent concepts again, and this is a good look at how we would play a left-handed player while getting behind. All right, so yes, we're in hung, but this was a great job by the on-ball guy, letting him get a half step so we couldn't inside roll him. In those hung situations and when we're defending one-on-one, I don't want our guys standing them up at GLE. If we stand them up at GLE, we're allowing them to inside roll. So here he is. He lets that guy sort of get to his top hand. He gets to his back with leverage while keeping his stick in front. And here's our adjacent help. And you can tell inside we're not even thinking about it. The guys that are thinking about going are adjacent and then next adjacent if necessary. But they don't like to throw that ball. So we're able to get to their hands, okay, and stay on this double. So when we slide, we would say fire. And then again, we got 3 calls: drop, stay, or party. This would be a party call. Okay, this would be our party call. Let's get the ball on the ground. All right. Coach Toomey bails him out with a timeout. Awesome. Here we are again. We get all twisted up at X. Okay, we get all twisted up at X. But they're thinking inside. They're thinking, I just twisted them up. Where's the slide from the inside coming? It was what they were best at. We didn't do it. So it kind of threw them off. They've got an open dude here. Throw it forward. You got to spin it. Okay, you absolutely roasted us. But we're able to show adjacently, and then we just bump out. We can rotate into it. Okay, we can rotate into it. Now here we come off the crease. Okay, we come off the crease. Why is that scary? Because you got to get a recovery to the crease. And what have we been trying to avoid all game? Crease speeds to 31. This just goes to show you how good Loyola was at throwing the ball inside and why we wanted to go adjacent to everything. Because even on the recovery, we're slow. They shove this into a tight window to Lindley, catch it and score it. Not good for us. Obviously, we got hung a lot this game. Not sure that was a part of the game plan. I think it was just something when you're in near, those pipe guys have to be above GLE because they got to be a part of the next rotation. So it just we found ourselves getting hung a bunch when we didn't really see it as a huge issue, at least in game. Thinking about it pre that week as we were planning, I don't remember it being a huge issue, but it ended up being something that we found ourselves in a bunch, and we just kept to our principles of drive them up the side. This is the clip we saw already. Full rotation into it. Some near adjacent shows. It was really, really cool. Love that clip. Here we are again. Best player in college lacrosse comes off this pick with his hands free. All right, but doesn't like to throw stuff forward. They don't have a great adjacent look forward. So what does he have? He's looking in and through. Go ahead, throw the through ball. Okay, we can get to that. Don't look in here because we're not giving that up. Make them throw passes around the edge. That's a win for us. This is the Chase Scanlon kid, okay? And again, we talked about it, KYP. We got our number 13 on the ball. Not great on the ball, really high IQ. So we're going to have to go to him in about 4th or 5th year. All right, we understand that, especially to the freshman, to the rookie of the year in the Patriot League, and one of the best midfielders in the country, period, as far as scoring goals. So we kind of KYP'd this one. He was an adjacent, the guy who goes. All right, so kind of in our package, but he clears through, so it looks more like a dog slide, a crease slide for us, but we knew we had to go to this thing. Boom, there's your party again. Make sure that ball gets on the ground, and then somebody's got to drop. We recover to the crease always, all right, and we bump out. Watch the bump here. Another good look at our bump as we get out there. Perfect. Now, again, here come our adjacent help, okay, but they do a good job of spacing. Here comes our adjacent help. We're a little late, all right, and we're definitely a little bit late here, but again, we're giving up a shot from GLE that isn't being taken by 7 or 31 or even 22 or whatever, or 18, I believe Scanlon's one. And sometimes you need great goalie play. All right, here we are again. Off the end line, shot was saved. We got a clock reset. Sometimes you need Coach Poley to bail you out. All right, calls timeout. We don't like to scramble off the end line, and the timeout doesn't hurt us because of the shot clock reset. All right, puts it right back to 80 anyways. Excuse me. There's Coach Poley calling the timeout about 10 yards on the field. Here we are in Big Little again, so we're in that off, okay, concept. Would have loved to see a little bit heavier of a show from here in case he had to go, but again, they weren't looking to turn the corner, so we're thinking adjacent help here. Okay, force them to throw this ball here. All right, they don't like to. We find ways to match up, and again, we get back to no rollbacks. If we give up the rollback, we're going, especially to number 7, KYP. Put this thing on the ground. All right, put this thing on the ground. But we get the scramble mode, okay? Yeah, we'll look a little discombobulated. All right, here's some nonverbal trying to bump people out. But here's 23. He gets called ball watching, but he's put himself on the crease where he knows they love to throw the rock. So he puts himself on the crease, gets eyes on it, picks it off, we're up the field. Again, that goes back to their priority, okay, and their tendency to throw the ball inside. So he just wanted to put himself in a position where he could help pick the ball up. Did he get called ball watching? Absolutely. But he wasn't an adjacent help. So ball watching, if he knew he was on the crease, he gets a little lucky. Okay, but at least he was in a good place. All right, here we are, giving up transition. Okay, giving up transition. We didn't want to give up transition. One of the game plans we talked about earlier was 2 offensive midfielders on the field, 1 or 2. We wanted to get to zone. All right, we wanted to get to zone. Okay, so here goes 1 sub with that one. Okay, here's the other one on an LSM. We didn't want to play this game. Okay, so that was poorly executed by him. We would have rather gotten into our green look, which gun squad midi comes in, defensive midfielder gets into the crease. We get our offensive midfielder to top center, and we play our zone look. The reason we went to zone is we knew exactly what we were going to see from Loyola. It was one of two things. Here comes their 2-2 set out of the zone, so we knew exactly what we could do. We could prep it during the week, all right, with our rotations. We knew exactly what we were going to see, which allowed me as a defensive coordinator to get each O-MIDI 1 rep on 2 different days. That was all they needed. They just needed to know, okay, what do I got to do top center, coach, for 15, 20 seconds? Hey. Loyola's got great ball movement, okay? Great ball movement. Would have loved to see this crease guy on the inside react ball side heavy much quicker. Slow. At least we forced them to make a play. And sometimes, hey, you give up a good look. Okay, you give up a good look. But that was the game plan, okay? Sometimes you tip your cap, great stick work. They make a They make a shot backup, they catch it, puts us in a bad spot. There's a better example of it. Okay, early offense, we're ready in those first 15 seconds, no matter what. We actually have 2 offensive midfielders in this segment here. Get some communication between the two, get in the green. Here's one of our headiest offensive midfielders. He knows, all right, we're at the end of the quarter. All right, let's just get a stop in green. Because if we stop their transition the first 15 seconds, they've got a sub. They see us in zone. They got to get to their spots. Play it out. We're playing our zone action. Get lucky. Can't let balls like that through. Okay. Thinking about tigering or subbing. All right. But what you're going to see is end the clock. We'd rather them just stay in and defend. Up the side, even in zone, we don't want an inside roll. We know they love to throw it inside. We've got our M.ED draped all over. He still throws it in there because they know how, or we know how confident they are with that. Draped all over him. It makes a great play, but we get a little bit lucky. There's your reset and saved by the bell. End of the quarter. Really huge for us. All right. This last one here, I'm going to buzz through the sort of beginning part here. Again, we're stuck with an offensive midfielder on. Okay. He's actually a freshman attackman that we turned into a midfielder. All right. Gave him 2 reps just like everybody else. So just play this top spot, Jacko. Have some fun with it. All right. We get Pat Spencer going at it. Here's our V-hold. I'm not sure I love the V-hold here, but what I love is feet behind, not giving up that rollback. Okay, not giving up that rollback. Here comes some help from the next from the next zone, as is the pipe one. Pipe zone's ready to come help, trying to anticipate the rollback. V-hold, puts the ball on the ground, ties up people's hands. It's really, really tough for offensive players to deal with, in my opinion. All right, boom, we get the ball on the ground. Here comes the offensive midfielder, smelling blood. Boom, go get it, puts it back on the ground. And here we are creating offense from our defense. Stick kill, getting us up the field. And this was one of the first things that we talked about. We had to be great in transition offense as well. Simple, get it to your attack. All right. And sometimes you make a play. Pretty cool play there by the freshman attackman from Massapequa, catching it on the inside. All right, even though he's covered, boom, putting it on frame. Awesome stuff. Transition goals are huge for us. Okay, especially against the number 2 team in the country that we knew we weren't going to be able to hold under 10. It's what they do. All right, and here's another more defense to offense. We're in, we call it, or you're in your whatever. They're in their double team. Okay, they get the ball on the ground. Not ideal. All right, but even as we continued in this sort of end of game, we were thinking, be aggressive. Okay, be aggressive. We pick it off. We go play. You got to be great transition. Boom, bury it. Awesome to see offense to defense. All right. One of the questions that has come up during this presentation was, how do you sell such a different game plan from what you normally do, right? Something so unique. Now, a lot of high school guys, not going to be fair to try to put a new game plan in for your Tuesday, Friday games all week, or all year, excuse me. For us, we obviously had a week to prepare, so we were able to put something different in. But to be honest with you, this is one of the first times and one of the only times that a significant game plan change really went in our favor. And it was because I saw such a tendency in Loyola to be great at throwing the ball inside, okay, especially the 31. So with our guys seeing it on the film, they were able to buy in. I think during the week, we saw obviously some scout stuff. It started to work pretty cool during the week, not letting the ball inside. So it put us in a really good position. And I sold it that way, right? You sell it when the guys aren't dumb. You know, lacrosse players are smart dudes. They see it. They think the game. And they saw what I saw. And we just sort of got on board with it. They committed to it. And we obviously got great goaltending play too. But we gave him the right shots to see. But more often than not, as a defensive coordinator, my philosophy, do what you do well. be good at what you do. And for us, that was normally slide, recover from the crease, and recover to the crease and bump out. But this wasn't so drastic of a change that it was something we've never done before. We have an adjacent package. It was just we relied more heavily on that adjacent package, and some great communication and some great on-ball play. I just want to run through the slides again here real quick at the end of this presentation, just so that kind of unabated, without anything in the way. So you can put them here at the end, so you guys can click through them. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. Best of luck here as we get through these times, and stay safe. Thanks, guys. Here's the PowerPoint one more time, just so you can click through it.